This right here is a 2022 Kia Carens. Yes, that's how you say it. Now, Kia claims that this car is neither an SUV nor an MPV. They regard it more as a recreational vehicle. Now, RVs are known for their supreme practicality. So that's one of the things I'm going to be hunting down in this video. And I'll also be letting you all know about the positives and negatives of the car. Why, you ask me? It's because I'm Shyam Anand and this is Hyper Automobiles. Starting off with the front, you get a one-piece piano black grille with 3D effects on it, which connects both the three-piece headlamps and the DRLs. Then coming down, you have the classic Kia Tiger Nose grille with a little bit of fakery over here, but I think that's forgivable. You also get three-piece fog lamps, which look really good when they're turned on. You're also going to notice a lot of chrome on this car because Kia knows that Indians like a little bit of bling on their car. Coming to the side of the Carens, you get strong body creases from the headlights to the front door handles and from the wraparound tail lights to the rear door handles. The door handles themselves are chrome ones, and you also get chrome window borders, and there's a fair bit of chrome on the cladding too. Now coming to the wheels of the Carens, so you do get an interesting set of alloys, I must say, but the wheels you get as standard are 205/65 R16s, and you don't have the ability to upsize them also. So let's take a Hyundai Alcazar for example, that has 18s as standard. So 16s, they just look puny on a car like this. The roofline too does not swoop too much coming to the rear of the car, and that is to ensure that the third row has enough space. Now coming to the rear of the car, you get a shark fin antenna, an integrated rear spoiler which houses the brake lights, and a rear wiper too. There is also a fake LED strip that runs across the rear to connect both the tail lamps. Why? Just why, Kia? There is an extensive usage of chrome for the border of the wraparound tail lamps, and the same goes for the rear bumper too. The ends of the rear bumper get the same 3D effect that you get for the front bumper. Overall though, I think that the Carens poses a fairly clean design, of course apart from those tiny wheels compared to its competitors. And you also find it hard to say whether it's an SUV, an MPV, or maybe as Kia say, an RV. I don't know. Now coming to the interior of the Kia Carens, you get a piano black dash which has been laid out pretty well. It also has this unique design going on. There's also a 10.25-inch touch screen, and the whole instrument cluster is completely digital. The controls for the touch screen and the climate controls are digital too. As for myself, I have loads of headroom, and I must say that these seats are really very comfortable, and yes, they are ventilated too. Now coming to the practicality of the Carens, the part that you've all been waiting for. So I have my 1 liter Hyper water bottle over here. Yeah, that's just a name I came up with, don't mind it. So as for the door bins, you have 3 designated slots for bottles. That's crazy. And of course the bottle fits there too. Beautiful. You also have 2 cup holders behind the gear lever. Of course the 1 liter bottle fits only in one of those, and the other one requires a smaller cup. On the driver's side, you get a secret coin holder, which is crazy. And same thing for the passenger side, but you get a cup holder over here. That's neat. You also get 2 USB ports, one being USB-B and the other USB-C. You also get a 12-volt power socket, and below that you get a wireless charger. Now coming to the center armrest, you open it and you have some small storage space. You can take it out and it exposes more storage. Now coming to the glove box, it is pretty deep, but you have some empty area over here. So suppose you fill your glove box completely to the brim, some things may fall off to the front of the car, and that's kind of annoying. That's just bizarre. You also have 2 reading lights for the front and a sunglass holder. And another disappointing thing is that you just get a 1-panel electric sunroof, not a panoramic sunroof like the Alcazar for example. And that is due to the fact that the Carens has roof-mounted air conditioning. Now coming to the second row of the Kia Carens, as you can see, the door opens really very wide. Ingress and egress is seriously very easy. You just have to slide into the seats. That's very nice. And as for myself, I have loads of headroom, loads of knee room, and loads of leg room. That is absolutely stunning. And behind the driver's seat, you get an air purifier. It takes a lot of space, and I must also say that when it's turned on, it makes quite some noise. And behind the companion seat, you get a tray with a cup holder, which is pretty cool. and a small net to store I don't know what. You get 2 reading lights for the rear passengers, grab handles, and as I said before, vents for the rear air conditioning. The window area is also pretty huge, so it feels very airy in here, combined with the sunroof also. You also get manual blinds, which is good. Practicality at the back is really good, just like at the front, and is very similar in that way. You get air conditioning controls over here. You get 2 USB ports and both are USB-Cs. You also get some storage space over here at the end of the center console. You get the ISOFIX mounts for the child seats, and the bottle holders are humongous, just like in the front. You also have a Bose sound system all around the car, and that is great. Now the Carens comes in either a 6-seater configuration or a 7-seater configuration. This is a 7-seater configuration. So as you can see, the middle seat in the second row does not have a headrest, but the hump is very low. Sitting here as an adult, I'm 5'8" to 5'9". I have loads of headroom. My legroom and knee room's good. Now let's move on to the third row of the car. Now coming to the third row of seats, I have good amount of headroom, but my knee room and legroom, as you can see, is really compromised, and it's not that comfortable over here. Under thigh support is also not that great. So I would say that the rear seats are just for the minors, not for the adults. Although for practicality, you do have a USB-C port for each of the passengers. You get 2 cup holders over here and here, 2 reading lights and 2 air vents. That's about the rear seats. Let's get on with the boot of the car. Now coming to the boot of the Kia Carens, the load lip is low so that you can load things easily. That's good. Now this is what it looks like with all the seats folded completely down. Yes, you get a flat floor. You also get some secret underfloor storage. That's good. So what you get as standard, without of course the seats folded, is 216 liters of boot space. And believe me, it sounds like quite less, but compared to its competitors, take the Alcazar for example, it has 180 liters. The Mahindra Marazzo has 190 liters. So this having 216 is actually pretty good. Now coming to the suspension setup of the car, so at the front you get McPherson struts with coil springs, and at the rear you get a coupled torsion beam axle with coil springs. Now it's time for the engine. Now moving on to the engine options that you get with the Kia Carens, starting off with what we have here today is the 1.4 liter turbocharged inline-4 petrol engine that produces 140 horsepower and 242 Newton meters of torque. You also get a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated inline-4 petrol engine that produces 115 horsepower and 155 Newton meters of torque. There's also a third engine option, and that's a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated inline-4 diesel engine that produces the same 115 horsepower but 215 Newton meters of torque. So the 1.4 turbo petrol over here is mated to either a 6-speed manual transmission or a 7-speed DCT, which this one is. The 1.5 liter NA petrol, however, comes only with a 6-speed manual transmission, and the 1.5 liter NA diesel is either mated to a 6-speed manual transmission or a 6-speed torque converter. Now, moving on to the final verdict of the Kia Carens. So it definitely misses out on some of the features to its rivals. For example, the 360-degree camera, a panoramic sunroof, and a minimum of 18-inch wheels. Also, the 1.5 liter NA petrol and 1.5 liter NA diesel engines are not that exciting, to be honest. So I would highly recommend the 1.4 turbo petrol, and avoid the 1.4 liter turbo petrol only if you have a budget constraint. However though, it does make up for those negative points, as Kia has given it 6 airbags as standard, and that is a lovely approach that Kia has taken towards the Carens. And the video long question, as Kia claims, does it live up to be an RV more than an SUV or an MPV on the basis of practicality? And the answer is, boy oh boy. It's a freaking practical car if you have seen the video till now. What do you think about the Kia Carens? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel because it's going to be really helpful to us. I mean, come on, it's just a button away. Click that button, you'll all be happy. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Goodbye.